Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today's deep dive, an exploration of one of America's most fascinating modern-era coins, the 1972 D Washington quarter, a circulating piece that millions of everyday people once carried in their pockets, yet has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. Most viewers may look at a quarter and see just 25 cents. But today, we uncover the hidden world where an ordinary-looking coin can suddenly transform into a collector's treasure, a historical artifact, and in extremely rare cases, a small fortune. The year was 1972. The United States was navigating a decade of change, politically, culturally, and economically. The Vietnam War continued to cast its shadow. Technology was advancing faster than ever. America had placed men on the moon only a few years earlier. And in Denver, Colorado, the U.S. Mint was working at full speed to keep up with the nation's growing demand for circulating coins. At the Denver Mint alone, hundreds of millions of Washington quarters rolled off the presses. The design had already become iconic since its introduction in 1932, the portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the proud, majestic eagle on the reverse. The 1972 D quarter was meant for everyday commerce, buying groceries, feeding pay phones, paying bus fares. Nothing glamorous. Nothing rare. Just another quarter, but time has a way of changing the value of things. Before we step further into the story, it's important to understand how a coin that cost only 25 cents to use can eventually become worth hundreds, thousands, or in extraordinary cases, tens of thousands of dollars. In the world of coin collecting, value is shaped by several key factors: rarity, how many examples of a particular variety or grade still exist; condition, did the coin escape decades of circulation; avoiding scratches, marks, and wear; mint errors, some coins leave the mint with unusual mistakes. A slight double strike, off-center press, missing lettering, or unexpected metal composition can turn a common coin into a prized rarity. Demand, how much do collectors desire that specific date, mint mark, or error type; historical significance, a coin minted during a notable period can carry emotional and cultural weight. The 1972 D Washington quarter is generally common, very common. In average circulated condition, it's worth only its face value. Yet, within this massive quantity, rare survivors exist. Gem-quality coins, coins that were never released into circulation, and coins with dramatic or unusual mint errors can skyrocket in value. A glimpse into the minting process. Imagine standing inside the Denver Mint in 1972. Giant presses slam rhythmically, stamping blank planchets into Washington quarters with almost hypnotic speed. Workers move efficiently, ensuring the press operation stays smooth, but with that speed comes potential for mistakes. A misaligned die. A slightly cracked die. A doubled die. A clipped planchet. A misfeed. Each of these could create coins that escape unnoticed and eventually end up in pockets, piggy banks, vending machines, and, many decades later, in collectors' hands. These lucky accidents are part of what makes the 1972 D quarter such an interesting subject for treasure hunters. For every 1,000 ordinary coins, one unusual piece may lie quietly waiting to be discovered. Why collectors hunt the 1972 D quarter. Despite its enormous production, the 1972 D quarter has a unique place in modern coin collecting. Collectors search for examples with pristine surfaces free of scratches or bag marks, sharp, full details in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, brilliant luster that seems to glow under light, errors or varieties verified by professional grading services. A coin that looks untouched, almost frozen in time, is dramatically more valuable than one that shows decades of wear from pockets and cash registers. The journey of a rare gem. Now picture this. Somewhere in the early 1970s, a perfect 1972 D quarter was minted. It had flawless surfaces, unbelievable luster, sharp rims, and perfectly struck details. Perhaps it was set aside by a mint employee. Perhaps it slipped into a sealed mint bag and was soon placed into long-term storage. Perhaps it ended up in a private collection before the collector even realized its significance. Years turned into decades. The world changed. Prices rose. Technology evolved. Quarters changed designs. But that pristine 1972 remained untouched, waiting for the day a collector or grader would recognize its extraordinary preservation. When such a coin finally surfaces, it can shock even seasoned collectors. Grading, the gateway to hidden riches. This brings us to one of the most important steps in determining worth: professional grading. When a coin is submitted to a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC, experts examine every microscopic detail, every ridge, shadow, and shine, to assign the coin a grade. For modern quarters, mint state grades range from MS60 to MS70. The closer a coin is to MS70, a perfect coin with no visible imperfections even under magnification, the more it is worth. Most 1972 quarters fall into low or mid grades if they've been circulated. But the finest known examples, those preserved as if time simply passed around them without touching them, can achieve remarkably high grades, and that is where the true value emerges. Why a single 1972 quarter can become a treasure for many people. Finding a valuable coin seems like fantasy or luck. But the truth is, the possibility exists. Even though hundreds of millions of these coins were minted, only a tiny handful survive in exceptional condition today. Many were worn down in pockets, scraped against other coins, dropped on floors, or damaged in vending machines over decades of everyday use. When a near-perfect survivor is found, collectors compete. They recognize the rarity. They see the significance. They understand the historical context. And they're willing to pay a premium that seems unbelievable for a coin most people wouldn't think twice about using for parking meters. The answer lies not in the metal itself, it's not silver, and its intrinsic metal value is small. The value comes from rarity, beauty, and condition. It comes from the thrill of collecting, the pursuit of perfection, and the deep historical appreciation that numismatics inspires. Collectors don't just buy coins, they buy history. They buy stories. They buy the impossible chance that a common-looking object could turn out to be one of the finest of its kind, bringing the viewer into the story. Imagine walking into your garage, opening an old drawer, and finding a dusty jar full of change from decades ago. You pour it out, and among the pile of nickels and dimes and random pennies, a shiny 1972 quarter catches your eye. You pick it up. It looks unusually nice. Smooth. Bright. Sharp. Curiosity rises. You take a closer look under good lighting. The details are crisp. The luster dances under the lamp. Could it be rare? Could it be special? This is how treasure hunts begin, how everyday people stumble upon extraordinary finds, and how the story of a common quarter transforms into a thrilling journey of possibility. Why the 1972 quarter continues to fascinate even today. Collectors search boxes of quarters, rolls from banks, old jars, and estate collections hoping to find that one exceptional piece. The idea that money we use every day can hide such secrets keeps the hobby alive, exciting, and full of adventure. The 1972 quarter reminds us that history isn't just in museums. It's in our pockets, in our drawers, in our change jars. Every coin has a past. And sometimes, its future is far greater than anyone could have imagined. Final thought before revealing the famous price. Now, throughout this entire journey, we have explored the story, the minting process, the grading excitement, and the hidden treasures that lie within a seemingly ordinary 1972 Washington quarter. And while most of these quarters will only ever be worth 25 cents, a few rare survivors, those blessed with extraordinary condition, have achieved legendary status in the numismatic world. As we reach the end of this deep dive, it's time to reveal the number that makes collectors raise their eyebrows, sparked nationwide curiosity, and cemented this coin as one of the most fascinating modern quarters ever discovered. The 1989 Washington quarter, minted in Philadelphia, the one with that tiny but important P mint mark. At first glance, this coin looks like any other quarter minted in the modern era. It features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, designed originally by John Flanagan, along with the classical heraldic eagle on the reverse, wings outspread in a proud and almost commanding pose. To most people, this coin doesn't appear rare. It doesn't look old. And it doesn't look valuable. But as we'll uncover today, appearances can sometimes hide real treasures. Let's begin by traveling back to the year 1989. It was a year of major global and cultural shifts. The Berlin Wall was coming down. The world was rapidly changing. In the United States, people were watching the rise of new technology, new fashion, new music, and new forms of entertainment. But in the world of coins, 1989 might seem like a quiet year, almost an unremarkable one. The U.S. Mint was producing millions upon millions of coins, quarters were rolling out of the Philadelphia Mint at incredible speed. No one imagined that any single one of these coins would someday become a star in the world of numismatics. Nearly 1 billion Washington quarters were minted that year. Yes, you heard that correctly, close to a billion. That enormous number is what makes the 1989 Washington quarter seem extremely common. And for the vast majority of them, they are. Most 1989 quarters are only worth their face value of 25 cents. You can spend them at a vending machine or flip them during a coin toss and lose nothing. But among that sea of ordinary coins, there exist a few extremely special examples, quarters struck with such precision, such sharp detail, and such immaculate condition that they stand as rare, coveted gems in the eyes of collectors. So what makes some of these coins so valuable? The secret lies in the grading. When collectors search for modern quarters, they're not typically looking for centuries-old pieces showing signs of age. Instead, they are hunting for coins that have somehow survived decades in flawless, untouched condition. Coins that went straight from the press into protected storage. Coins that never made their way into circulation, never rubbed against other coins, never fell into pockets, trays, or cash drawers. These pristine specimens are known as mint state examples, and the very highest of them can achieve grades like MS 67, MS 68, and in extremely rare cases, MS 69 on the Sheldon scale. For the 1989 quarter, a coin achieving such grades is not just rare, it's astonishingly rare. This coin was mass-produced, and the minting process at the time wasn't focused on creating flawless collectible pieces. Instead, the focus was on quantity, meeting the country's growing demand for circulating currency. That means most coins have light scratches, bag marks from being stored in large bins, or minor imperfections from high-speed production. To find a flawless survivor among billions is like finding a single needle buried deep within a massive haystack, but when such an extraordinary example appears, collectors take notice. And when competitive collectors take notice, the value of a coin can skyrocket to levels most people would never expect. Over the years, a handful of ultra-high-grade 1989 Washington quarters have appeared at auction. Each time one is discovered, experts examine it closely. They look at the sharpness of the strike, the luster, the beauty of the surfaces, and the absence, or near absence, of flaws. When one earns the coveted top-tier grade, it instantly becomes one of the best-preserved coins of its entire year and mint. And that status, in the world of coins, is what drives prices to astonishing heights. Now imagine this. A simple quarter you could have easily overlooked in your spare change ends up being worth thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, of dollars. That's the magic of numismatics. It turns everyday objects into historical treasures, and it rewards those who look more carefully than others. But how does a collector find one of these rare, pristine coins? Most people don't expect to discover one in circulation today. After all, decades have passed, and the vast majority of these coins have been used countless times. Yet, treasure hunting is still alive and well. Coin roll hunters purchase full rolls of quarters from banks and sort through them, hoping to spot something unusual. Others check their old collections, coin jars, or boxes from parents and grandparents. Every so often, one of these seekers finds something unexpected, maybe not a flawless mint state example, but sometimes a coin that stands out due to a unique appearance, strange texture, or sharp detail. It's important to note that not every unusual 1989 quarter is valuable. Coins showing heavy wear, scratches, discoloration, or surface damage usually aren't worth more than face value. But coins with strong luster, clean surfaces, and no signs of circulation might be worth getting graded by a professional service such as PCGS or NGC. Because once a coin is certified, its value becomes much more stable, and collectors can confidently bid on it, knowing exactly what they're buying. To anyone watching this video who has a 1989 quarter at home, the best advice is to inspect it closely. Tilt it under the light. Look at Washington's hair details, the clarity of the lettering, the eagle's feathers on the reverse, and the overall shine. A true gem will look dramatically different from the average circulated quarter. But even if you don't have the rarest example, searching through your coins is still an adventure. Every collector, even the most seasoned experts, started with that simple curiosity, checking one coin, then another, then another. The story of the 1989 Washington quarter is a reminder that value is not always determined by age. Sometimes, it's about condition, rarity within that condition, and the passion of collectors who want to own the very best examples of American coinage. Modern coins can be as valuable as historic silver or gold pieces when they meet these criteria. Collectors today cherish this coin not because it is ancient or because it contains precious metal, but because it represents something special in the numismatic world, the rare survival of perfection. A survivor of mass production. A coin that shines brightly among billions of ordinary siblings. A champion of quality in a year where almost no one expected such quality to matter. And this brings us to the most exciting part of our story, the kind of fact that makes headlines and sparks imaginations. In the world of coin auctions, where the finest examples are fought over fiercely, the highest graded 1989 Washington quarter ever sold reached a breathtaking price. This wasn't just a good price or a surprising price. It was a price so high that it stunned collectors across the country and turned this quiet, unassuming quarter from 1989 into a symbol of hidden treasure. We're diving deep into the world of United States quarter-dollar coins, and specifically into a fascinating coin often talked about among collectors, the 2000 1788 inscribed quarter dollar. This little coin might look ordinary to most people, but beneath its everyday appearance lies a surprising story of design, symbolism, minting details, and of course, its actual value in the collector's market. In this video-length script, we're taking you on a journey that spans the creation of this coin, why the date 1788 appears on it, what makes the year 2000 special for U.S. quarters, and how collectors evaluate its worth. And yes, toward the end we'll reveal the exact coin value written in words, just the way you requested. So settle in, because this is going to be long, detailed, vivid, and full of interesting numismatic insights. Setting the stage, why this quarter even exists. Before we focus on this specific coin, let's set the stage. At the turn of the millennium, the United States Mint launched one of the most successful commemorative coin programs in American history, the 50-state quarters program. For 10 years, between 1999 and 2008, each state received its own design on the back of the standard Washington quarter. These designs honored each state's culture, symbols, heritage, and history. The year 2000 marked the release of the second wave of state quarters. The designs released that year represented 5 states that had joined the Union: Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia. Each of these state quarters carried an inscription of the year the state officially entered the Union, and that's where 1788 comes in. Point 3 of the states commemorated in 2000, Maryland, South Carolina, and New Hampshire, entered the United States in the year 1788. That's why so many 2000 quarters display the year 1788 on the reverse. This isn't the year the coin was minted, it's the year the state joined the Union. The actual minting year still appears on the front as 2000, just below George Washington's bust. Understanding the mint mark, the little letter with huge importance. The P you see on these coins stands for the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest official minting facility in the United States. Unlike the Denver Mint, which uses a D mint mark, the Philadelphia Mint produces massive quantities of circulating coinage every year. In the year 2000, combining all the states released that year, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of state quarters. Because of this, many 2000 quarters are common when worn, but when they're in mint state condition, their value tells a different story. Collectors pay very close attention to luster, strike, sharpness, surface marks, overall eye appeal. Even though the mintage numbers were high, pristine specimens are harder to come by today. Zooming in, the coin's design and what makes it special. Let's paint a picture of a typical 2000 P1788 quarter. On the front, you have the familiar portrait of George Washington. Designed originally by John Flanagan and updated lightly over the years. It's crisp, bold, and iconic, but the reverse is where the story of 1788 becomes alive. Depending on which of the three 1,788 inscribed state quarters you're holding, the scene on the back could be Maryland, the historic Maryland State House, framed with the state's nickname, the Old Line State. South Carolina, the palmetto tree, the crescent, and the Carolina wren, beautifully arranged with geographic symbolism. New Hampshire, the famous rock formation known as the Old Man of the Mountain, a tragic beauty since the Rayall Formation collapsed in 2003. Each design reflects centuries of state pride and symbolism. The year 1788 is engraved prominently to honor the year that particular state entered the United States. Collector's curiosity: why this coin captures attention so why does this quarter get talked about so much? What exactly makes people search through their change looking for one? Part of the reason is that collectors love coins that mix historical dates and modern minting. Seeing 1788 on a coin minted in 2000 creates a sense of time travel, linking the Revolutionary era with the dawn of the 21st century. But there's more. The 2000 P state quarters, especially those with absolutely no marks, perfect shine, and high-quality striking, tend to stand out in the collector community. High-grade examples are the ones that earn desirable values, and grading agencies like PCGS and NGC play a big role in determining just how valuable a specimen can be. The grading factor, where every tiny detail matters. You may be wondering why some coins sell for far more than others even if they're the same design and from the same mint. The answer is grading. A coin's grade can range from poor, P1, barely recognizable, good, G4, heavily worn but identifiable, fine, F12, moderate wear with visible details, extremely fine, XF40, slight wear with sharp details about uncirculated, -55 Australian dollars, almost mint condition, mint state, MS60 to MS70, brand new quality. The highest level, the higher the grade, the more the value jumps. For example, a heavily circulated 2000 P1788 quarter still spends as normal money, just 25 cents. But a perfectly preserved, high-grade mint state example becomes a collectible. The hunt for rare varieties: even though these coins were mass-produced, certain varieties or errors can become highly valuable. Collectors constantly look for off-center strikes, die cracks, missing letters, extra metal around the edges, double dies, misaligned designs. Sometimes these variations are barely noticeable to the untrained eye, but to numismatists, even the tiniest oddity can raise a coin's worth dramatically. While the 2000 P state quarters aren't known for a major, famous error like the 1955 double die penny, subtle variations still add excitement and value for collectors. Why people love keeping these coins: this quarter has become a favorite among casual collectors who enjoy filling their 50-state quarter books or holders. Many people feel rewarded when they find a shiny, well-detailed example from 2000, especially one with the 1788 inscription. It's a coin that represents a milestone state anniversary, the early days of the millennium, the success of one of the most beloved U.S. coin programs, a unique blend of modern and historical American identity. Whether you're an expert collector or just someone who found this coin in their change, there's something satisfying about holding a miniature work of art that represents American history. The value: how much this coin is actually worth. Now we come to the part that everyone wants to know. How much is this coin worth? Values vary depending on condition, rarity of specific strike qualities, and collector demand. But for the sake of this script, you asked to mention only one price, and to express it in words rather than numbers. We're diving into a fascinating world that combines American history, modern minting, and hidden treasure tucked quietly inside everyday pocket change. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who simply loves discovering surprising stories behind U.S. coins, this video is going to take you on a detailed journey into the 2009 United States of America D-Mint Mark $quarter coins. These quarters may look ordinary at first glance, but trust me, many collectors overlook how special these coins truly are, and that's exactly why you'll want to stick with me all the way to the end of this script. Why 2009 was a special year for U.S. quarters. Before we get into the value, rarity, errors, and hidden treasure potential, we must understand why 2009 stands apart from other years. The year 2009 marked the release of the District of Columbia and U.S. Territories Quarters program. This was a one-year-only series that followed the wildly popular 50-state quarters program. Instead of having 50 designs stretched across 10 years, collectors were given 6 unique designs released within a single year, each honoring an important territory or the nation's capital. These 6 coins represented District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands, Northern Mariana Islands. Each of these design themes captured local history, culture, and pride, creating a compact collection that many collectors were excited to complete. Yet because the year 2009 was also deep in the economic recession, something unusual happened: demand for circulating coins dropped dramatically. When coin demand falls, mintages fall too. And when mintages fall, scarcity rises. The importance of the D-Mint mark. Now let's talk about the D-Mint mark. This mark means the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, located in Colorado. The Denver Mint is known for producing billions of circulating coins each year, but during 2009, production slowed down considerably. This meant fewer quarters were produced compared to the boom years of the early 2000s. While the Philadelphia Mint, marked with P, also saw reduced numbers, the Denver Mint had some of the most noticeably limited mintages in the series. Collectors pay close attention to these numbers because scarcity plays a major role in determining value. And since 2009 was an unusually low production year, particularly for quarters, many of the D-Mint mark coins quickly became desirable pieces. What makes these quarters collectible? Collectors don't come chasing after coins just because they're old or shiny. Real value is created through a combination of factors. For the 2009 D-Mint mark $quarter coins, all of these factors come together beautifully: limited mintage, fewer coins mean rising demand, one-year designs. These designs were never minted again. Short series, only 6 varieties exist, making collection completion easier and more desirable. Historical value, each quarter carries cultural symbolism and unique imagery. Errors and variations, some coins were minted with striking defects that increase value. Each design tells a story. Whether it's honoring Duke Ellington on the District of Columbia quarter, the iconic Bird of Paradise from the U.S. Virgin Islands, or the calm yet powerful image of the latte stone from Guam. The designs alone make these coins distinct and captivating, but their real attraction lies in the limited number that made it into circulation. Why 2009 quarters are harder to find in pocket change? If you're wondering why you don't often see 2009 quarters in your pocket change, here's the answer: most people hung on to them. In the coin collecting community, the day these quarters were released, many collectors rushed to get them. Even casual collectors knew the limited mintage meant these coins wouldn't circulate for long. So instead of being spent, they were stored, stashed, and preserved in rolls, folders, and collections. On top of that, the U.S. economy was struggling, and fewer people were using coins for everyday transactions. So there were already fewer quarters moving through the system. That combination, low demand, low production, and a rush from collectors, created an environment where these coins became harder and harder to encounter naturally. Examining the most sought-after coins in the set. Among the 6 designs, some are more popular than others. The District of Columbia quarter with Duke Ellington at the piano is especially beloved because it features a celebrated musician, a theme not commonly found on U.S. currency. Guam and American Samoa quarters also carry distinct cultural elements that collectors admire. But the charm of the series is that each design has its own character, meaning every coin appeals to different types of collectors. The Denver Mint versions often stand out because certain Denver issues historically tend to be struck with slightly sharper details and stronger edges. That crispness matters for collectors searching for higher-grade coins, errors and varieties that raise the value. As with many coin series, 2009 quarters are known for a handful of minting errors. While not every D-Mint mark coin has an error, some of the known types include die cracks, misaligned strikes, weak strikes, extra metal around devices, clash dies, off-center strikes. These errors might appear in small details such as extra metal around a shape, unusual lines running across the design, or visible doubling in the letters. The presence of an error can make a coin significantly more valuable. That's why collectors love carefully examining each 2009 quarter. They're looking for those rare imperfections that turn an everyday coin into a collectible. Understanding condition and grading. Condition is everything. A coin that looks like it just left the mint is always worth more than one that has been circulating for years with scratches, dents, and discoloration. Grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins and give them grades that range from poor to mint state 70. A 2009 D mint mark quarter in high mint state condition is far harder to find than you might expect. Even though many were saved, not all were preserved perfectly. This means finding a sharply detailed, shiny, scratch-free example is a true treasure. And when collectors compete over these higher-grade coins, values can rise quickly. How to identify a D mint mark 2009 quarter? If you have a pile of quarters at home, begin by checking just below the phrase, "In God We Trust," or near the image on the obverse side. The mint mark, either P or D, will be stamped clearly. Once you find that D, flip the coin over and check which territory or district is featured. You'll see the exact design along with the year 2009, marking it as part of the series we're discussing. Even if you think your coin might be ordinary, it's always worth taking a second look. Many people have discovered rare treasures hiding in jars, drawers, or old boxes. And since these 2009 D mint mark quarters can be worth more than face value, it's worth giving each one a closer inspection. Collector demand continues to rise over the years. The interest in modern collectible coins has grown significantly. Younger collectors entering the hobby and longtime enthusiasts both recognize the appeal of one-year series quarters like those from 2009. Their limited nature, historical value, and unique designs make them increasingly attractive over time. As more collectors seek complete sets, demand for each of the 6 designs in high quality grows. And since the supply of truly high-grade coins is shrinking, especially those from the Denver Mint, their values continue to climb. This consistent rise in demand is exactly what keeps these coins relevant today. Why you should hold on to your 2009 D quarters. If you already have one, you might be holding something far more valuable than you realize. Even if your coin isn't in perfect condition, it still belongs to a limited series that grows scarcer each year. Anyone collecting the 2009 quarters will eventually need the Denver Mint versions, and this helps keep the value and interest steady. Many people today are searching through their collections again because they've realized how special these coins are becoming. If you have a 2009 D mint mark quarter, especially one in excellent condition, consider storing it properly or even getting it graded. Final thoughts: these remarkable coins from 2009 represent a moment in U.S. history where creativity, economic circumstances, and collector interest all aligned perfectly. The District of Columbia and U.S. Territories quarter program may have lasted only 1 year, but its impact continues today. From beautiful designs to limited mintages and growing collector interest, these Denver minted coins stand as modern-day treasures waiting to be recognized. We are going on a deep journey into the story and value of the United States of America 2015 D mint mark $quarter coin. Whether you are a new collector, a seasoned numismatist, or simply curious about the hidden worth of everyday coins, this video is going to walk you through everything you need to know about these fascinating 25-cent pieces from 2015. Get ready for an in-depth exploration filled with details, background, and the surprising value a common quarter can hold when preserved in the right way. Before we fully unlock the value of the 2015 D $quarter, let's first step back and appreciate why collectors love quarters so much. Quarters are some of the most frequently circulated coins in America. They flow through gas stations, vending machines, classroom desks, purses, pockets, and glove compartments every single day. Because they are everywhere, most people do not pay attention to them at all. But for collectors, this is fantastic, because hidden among these billions of coins are the rare ones, the special ones, the coins that slipped through the cracks or survived untouched. In this sense, coin collecting becomes a treasure hunt. It turns what most people overlook into something worth noticing, analyzing, and sometimes even valuing far above face value. Now let's return to the star of our journey, the 2015 D mint mark $quarter. The D mint mark means it was minted at the United States Mint facility in Denver, Colorado. Denver is one of the busiest minting facilities in the country and has been producing coins for well over a century. Coins that carry the D mint mark are known for their sharp striking quality and strong luster when freshly minted. But like all coins, they begin to show wear with time, handling, and circulation. This is why pristine examples, especially in high uncirculated grades, catch the attention of collectors. The year 2015 is a special year within the America the Beautiful Quarter series, a program that honored national parks and historically important sites across the country. The series ran from 2010 to 2021. 5 unique quarter designs were released every year, each representing a different treasured landmark. That means that 5 different designs were struck with the 2015 date, all of which can carry the D Mint mark if produced in Denver. These 2015 designs included Homestead National Monument of America in Nebraska, Kisatchie National Forest in Louisiana, Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina, Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge in Delaware, and Saratoga National Historical Park in New York. Each design carries its own history and artistic expression, making these coins more than money. They become miniature pieces of storytelling. Collectors love these quarters because the designs change each year, and the 2015 set features some particularly striking imagery. For example, the Homestead National Monument design displays a log cabin with flowing water and hands sheltering it, representing home, life, and the resources early settlers needed to survive. The Blue Ridge Parkway quarter captures the beautifully curved roadway with a stunning floral frame. The Saratoga design commemorates a turning point in the American Revolution with a symbolic surrender scene. These elements mean that even modern quarters carry meaning beyond simple monetary use, and 2015 examples minted in Denver have steadily gained interest among collectors who love visually rich designs mixed with historical themes. Now let's dive deeper into what determines the value of a 2015 D quarter dollar. The very first factor is condition. Coin condition is the heart of numismatics. A circulated quarter that has been handled for years, slid across counters, bounced in pockets, and rubbed in drawers is usually worth only 25 cents. But a quarter that never entered circulation, one that came straight from mint packaging or was carefully stored after minting, can be far more valuable. These untouched coins maintain their sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, and crisp edges. Collectors grade them using a scale that ranges from poor all the way up to perfect. The top levels of this scale, known as mint state grades, are where the most valuable modern coins are found. Professional grading services examine a coin's luster, strike, marks, and overall eye appeal. For modern quarters like the 2015 D, even tiny imperfections can drop the grade. That means only a small number of coins achieve the highest designations, which makes them more attractive and more valuable on the collector market. So when it comes to figuring out how much a 2015 D Mint Mark quarter is worth, grading becomes a major key. A quarter found in your spare change may look shiny, but comparing it to a professionally graded mint state specimen is like comparing a paperback book that has been dropped in the sand to a brand new edition pulled freshly from the printer. The next factor affecting value is demand. Some years and some designs catch more attention from collectors than others. Although all America the Beautiful quarters have fans, certain designs from 2015, such as Bombay Hook and Saratoga, have stood out over time because of the striking imagery and meaningful themes they represent. When more collectors want a certain coin than the number of high-quality examples that exist, prices go up. It is simple economics applied to the world of numismatics. Another fascinating aspect of these coins is the potential for varieties and errors. Mint errors occur when something unusual happens during the production process. These could be off-center strikes, doubled designs, die cracks, or other unexpected features that make a coin unique. An error can transform a normal quarter into a rare collectible. Even slight variations can raise value. While errors are not extremely common among 2015 D quarters, the possibility always excites collectors. It is part of the thrill of searching through coin rolls, coin jars, and mint sets, hoping to stumble upon something that the mint never intended to release. Let's also reflect on the role of mintage numbers. Denver produced millions of 2015 quarters, but the quantity varies from design to design. A larger number of coins means a lower likelihood of scarcity, at least in circulated conditions. But remember, rarity in modern coins often does not come from the total number minted but from the number that survive in pristine, untouched, premium condition. That is why modern quarters graded at the highest levels can still climb significantly in value even when the mintage seems large. The challenge is finding a coin that has no marks, no friction, no fingerprints, and near-perfect surfaces after years of distribution. Now let's paint a picture. Imagine opening a coin roll from your local bank, expecting to find only ordinary change, and there it is, a crisp, sharp, beautifully struck 2015 D quarter with flawless surfaces. That moment feels like discovering a hidden gem, and it is exactly what drives many collectors to keep searching. That excitement is part of why coin collecting continues to grow every year. In addition to condition, another aspect that many collectors consider is the historical value. Coins act as portable history lessons. The 2015 D quarters celebrate stories of early homesteads, natural landscapes, forests full of wildlife, significant battlegrounds, and scenic American roadways. Collecting them becomes a small journey through American heritage. People who love national parks find great meaning in these coins, and families often collect the entire series together as a long-term hobby. So what does all this mean for the value of the 2015 D Mint Mark $quarter coin? After taking into account all these factors, the average value depends on the specific grade and condition of the coin. Circulated examples generally remain worth their face value unless they display a rare error. But premium uncirculated coins, especially those that reach the highest grade levels, have been known to sell for impressive prices among modern collectors. Before we reach the final line, let's take one more moment to appreciate why people love collecting coins like this. Coin collecting blends history, art, economics, personal discovery, and the thrill of treasure hunting into one hobby. Every coin tells a story. Every year brings new designs, new minting challenges, and new opportunities to find something special. And although the 2015 D $quarter is a modern coin, it has already earned a place in the hearts of collectors who value both its visual appeal and its representation of American culture and heritage.